All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Prosec, and you are watching Fast-Athon 2025. We're just going to get right into our next run here, which is, of course, going to be Shadowverse Champions Battle by the ever-delightful Starwind. Take it away, my friend.
All right, thank you so much for having me. I am going to just jump in because there'll be time to talk up front. So if you're ready for a countdown timer, we can go in 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's go.
Okay, here we go.
Good luck.
All right. Hello. I am Starwindx9. This is like the one game I stream, but I love this game. And I'll talk a little bit more about the game and like the category here in a second, because I wanna introduce Bo, who's been kind enough to jump on and join me on comms.
Hello. Yeah, I'm very excited to be here. This game is super neat. I'm very happy to be around to yap about it a little bit while you get into focus mode. So it should be a fun time for sure.
Yeah, I should be able to yap back, but you know, there's a couple of moments here to focus up. I forgot to do my typical like intro question, and host, I'll throw it at you too. So last time I did favorite breakfast cereal. So this is kind of like, it's still Saturday morning for me. I know that this is probably not Saturday morning for most folks, but I also would like to say that the Saturday morning vibes, you know, that's irrespective of time and time zone. So Bo, what is your favorite Saturday morning cartoon / anime?
Ooh, my favorite Saturday morning cartoon. How badly do I want to date myself here? I was always a fan of the classic WB cartoons growing up, that your Animaniacs, Bonkers, things like that.
Ooh,
As far
Bonkers
as
is a good
anime
poll.
go,
Yeah.
Bonkers is sweet, yeah. As far as anime go, it's definitely Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, you always tuned in, something crazy was happening. It's always fun to watch, 100%.
That's basically why I'm here, is like I loved Yu-Gi-Oh! I played all the Yu-Gi-Oh! Games, and then I saw this game. Like, this game just randomly came up on like my Twitter. And I was like, yo, this just looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Game. And so I was like way into it. Host, I'll throw the same question to you. What was your like favorite like Saturday morning cartoon or like anime that you watched a lot of? I don't know if I'm catching you off guard.
Yeah, absolutely. Ooh, geez. I mean, I'm looking over to the tab where I've currently got Pokemon Horizons on. Yeah, I was a Pokemon kid. I remain a Pokemon adult.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I would probably say same answer of like Yu-Gi-Oh, like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh for sure. I guess like my other throw is like I really liked the magical girl genre, so like Cardcaptor Sakura and Tokyo Mew Mew are like favorites of mine. But like
That was sweet.
but like my oddball pick, if we're gonna go like with the silly over the top WB vibes, Fighting Foodons. I think that was Foxbox, but man, Fighting Foodons.
I don't know that I'm familiar with that one. I'll have to look it up after.
It's like a creature battler, but like everyone's like a chef, and you're like fighting. Like one of them is like a thing of French fries. It's silly. It's a good time. And the translation is a little wacky. All right, so Bo, you are up as we go into tutorial battle 1. If you do not mind talking basics.
Absolutely. So the basic general things that we've kind of done so far in the game are we've picked up our cell phone, which allows us to update our game settings. We can't change anything until we get our phone. And now we are into our pair of tutorial matches. So the first one here is against Mimori. All of the basic information that you would kind of need as a viewer to follow along with these cards is on screen right now. You can see we have a green bar on the right hand side. Those are our play points. They go up by 1 every turn. That allows us to play various cards, all of which have the requisite cost in their top left number there. All cards have an attack number and a defense number. Attack will be on the left and in blue, and defense will be on the right and in red. The defense is kind of the same thing as health, effectively. So, as you can see there, we just dealt some damage and took some damage. So our toughness on that creature went from from 4 down to 2. Most normal cards cannot attack the same turn that they are summoned. They have a summoning sickness, if you're familiar with Magic the Gathering stuff. But there are a couple of special keywords that will allow you to attack first things first, and we'll get into those in a little bit. For all of these tutorial matches, there is no variance. Star just has to do exactly what they tell them to for every action, so there's no real we don't get to do a whole lot of choice. There's no choices here.
And they insist that I do it. So if you saw Mimori being like, no, in your turn, like, you can't button through it, and I could definitely accidentally hit the wrong thing. So this is why it's a focus point for me, as silly as it is.
Yeah. So now we're hopping into the second tutorial match. This one is with Hero. We are going to be introduced to a couple of new concepts here. We have the ability to mulligan some of our cards away, so we're usually going to be getting rid of our extremely high cost stuff that we won't be able to play until the late game. So we're going to get rid of, the 5 and the 6 here, most likely keep the 2. And these choices, again, are they've made them for us, but when we get into the actual game, this is stuff that we're going to be paying attention to quite a lot. We're also going to learn about a new card type called amulets. They're green. They occupy a spot on the board, and they kind of give you a constant effect. So like an ongoing enchantment in Magic or a field card in Yu-Gi-Oh! However you'd like to think about that. That's kind of what they do. We also get a couple of new keywords. So all of these cards are going to have some abilities one way or another, generally speaking. Fanfare is going to be the big one that we see for Hero. It is basically when you play the card, something happens with it, which is fabulous. There's also skull icons, which constitute last words as an ability. That happens when the card is destroyed. So as soon as it hits the graveyard, something happens. And I believe this is also where we get introduced to evolutions, which each player has a certain number of per game. You get access to them on turn 4 if you played second, or 5 if you played first, and you have a limited number of them while you are going through it. And those are designated by, at the moment, they are grayed out, but there are 3 like diamonds to the left of our character portrait and to the right of our opponent's character portrait. The goal of this game is to reduce the life total of your opponent to 0 and try to have yours not go to 0. So that is the number on the right-hand side by both of our portraits there. It's usually going to be at 20, but for these tutorials, it's going to be at 5. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the basic stuff. Once we finish these, we're going to be hopping into a deck building tutorial where it's going to help us put together our first real proper deck, and the way that they kind of distinguish between the different deck strategies is there are types. There are full-on like deck types.
Yeah, they have different.
You have access to.
Yeah, they have like different classes, which plays very similar to Hearthstone. So if like Hearthstone, you probably know how this game plays. And similar to Hearthstone, you have to play like with your class. So this run features 2 different classes, unless you happen to change that up, which we can talk about later. But for instance, you could play neutral cards and then your specific classes cards. And the only other thing I want to mention, because it was I moved a little fast in that opening tutorial, was wards. So cards with that kind of giant shield just means I have to attack those. I cannot attack the opponent or other cards first. And then purple is spell cards. So it is like an instant effect. So more of like a traditional spell card in like your Yu-Gi-Ohs and whatnot. Whereas again, or like kind of maybe plays like a trap. You wouldn't activate it on a different turn, but Yeah. And then we kind of interrupt this deck building tutorial that Bo kind of teed up for me, because we have to collect various cards to finish that tutorial deck they want us to build. And one of the 3 ways to acquire cards is through a duel. So, and we called out that, like, hey, this is like preset for those first 2 fights. Even with this being tutorialized, we are now actually in just a proper duel. So I don't know what hero is going to do. I don't know what cards I'm going to get. While I'm aware of everyone's decks, you know, this is when the RNG kicks in. And since this is our first time going up against a Dragoncraft deck, Bo, do you want to talk Dragoncraft?
Yeah, for sure. So Dragoncraft as a class is kind of built to remove defensive and expensive cards, or that's what we're doing for our build. Dragoncraft's special ability is Overflow. Basically, when we have 7 play points, so when that green bar on the right hand side hits 7, a lot of our cards gain unique effects. So at this point, both us and Hero are using a Dragoncraft deck. So we our goal is going to be to try to, you know, deal with the early stuff and set ourselves up for some big swingy turns in the later game. We kind of it's more like a mid-range. It's very strong. It needs time to reach Overflow, so it can be slower depending on how that kind of goes for us. But the general gist of this is to kind of keep our early game afloat. And then once we hit, you know, so in this case, the next turn that we get to play, we're going to be at Overflow, and a lot of our cards are going to suddenly become far more effective than they previously were. So this is the first of 2 decks that we're going to be playing, where we will be switching off of Dragoncraft to a different class in a little bit. But yeah, this is kind of your green stompy kind of deck for those of you who are magic brained like I am. We're gonna acquire as many play points as we can. We're gonna play big stuff, and we're gonna just throw it at our opponent and hope for the best.
Yeah, and Hero decided to be a little mean and throw out a ward on me. So, not excited about that one. But this evolution will get us through. I haven't played Magic in ages. I always, like, when I think of, like, if I was going to do the comparison, I would have thought of this as, like, pure red or red-black. Because of, like, sheer attack power. The other thing I will say is that Dragoncraft is unique, that it ramps faster than other decks. I'm not aware of another class that has the ability to gain empty play points, which just means you kind of like you'll like spend play points to wipe out your play points, but then increase your maximum, meaning you'll go from like 2 to 4 in a turn rather than like 2 to 3.
It gets very handy because obviously, again, we want to reach 7 as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it's why you saw Hero overflow before me, even though I went first. And I'm forced to do some shopping to finish out this tutorial. So buying a card pack and then buying a specific card. And we are going to be able to finish building out this deck. So I will wrap this up real quick.
Yeah. So the only other way that I don't think we've mentioned yet that you can pick up or that you can get new cards is by picking them up in kind of the overworld. And our card packs from this point forward, I believe, are like totally random. So what we're going to be doing is building the closest approximation of the decks that we want each time we need to go in and do a new build. So we're really hoping that we're going to see a couple of very specific cards as we do these upgrades as the run goes on. There's going to be a couple of big deck builds. This is the first and probably least important of them. We're just trying to get this starter Dragoncraft deck going, but we will be building a Bloodcraft deck and then later upgrading that and also upgrading the Dragoncraft deck, unless, chat room, you want us to play with a different set of cards for the final fight of this game. Which is, I believe that is the current bid war incentive that's going on right now. So as we get into couple of the fights later on, when we can start talking shop about what all of the various classes do, we can give you a better rundown of the options there. But one of the options is going to be this Dragoncraft style, getting, you know, the overflow keyword, getting to 7, and then trying to take over the game from there. So if you like the big stuff and you like turning it sideways, that is a fine option. But we've got two other ones that are equally interesting.
You'll see them both as bosses.
Yeah.
How'd it go?
But yeah, you know, I start out and like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to summon a Fafnir fast enough to show you before I have to swap decks. So maybe you want to see me go back and throw out one of the strongest cards in the game. And to be fair, like, Dragoncraft in general is just the strongest in the game. Hero, our redheaded friend over there, is the protagonist of the anime. This is based on the anime. Roughly like the first arc, especially with me only playing like the beginning of the game here. And we have like a fun little like self-insert character. And then as well as the other character who will meet in like a second. Oh, I need to do my deck edit, sorry. The president of the Shadowverse Club. It's also a original character. That was like my fun fact, because I always assumed he was like part of the game normally, or the show, and he was not. Get review.
Okay, so we're doing our first big build here. Our goal with this build is going to be to remove basically all of our defensive cards and all of our expensive cards. So anything that is meant to kind of like control the board or keep us alive, and also stuff that's going to cost a bundle to actually play in a match, we're trying to get rid of. The early fights that we're going to be doing, the early games that we're going to be playing against people, aren't going to last a ton of turns.
I went to the wrong floor.
Oh no!
It's not a big deal, but I find that funny.
We're getting some extra cardio in while we're running around school today.
We're getting our steppies.
Yeah, you gotta hit that number. Gotta get the step count up. But yeah, so generally we're gonna be trying to for this initial deck build, we're gonna be aiming to have a deck full of cheaper cards that are easier to play, so that we can kind of keep the pressure up at all times. And now that is done, we're gonna be facing off with a student council member soon.
Yeah, we were trying to find the Shadowverse Club because we heard there was a Shadowverse Club. Then people are acting like it wasn't around anymore. And so the kid with the purple hair in the middle is Ray, the president of the Shadowverse Club. Everyone kind of abandoned him. And so our goal is like to revive the Shadowverse Club. And like literally the second we like meet him, the student council rolls up and is like, we're going to shut you down. So
a fabulous trope.
Yes.
So yeah, one of our primary goals through this run is going to be to save the Shadowverse Club. For obvious reasons, the game is really cool and fun, and we want everybody to play it. And they're trying to shut it down for no good reason. So this is the first battle, I think, of Chapter 2, right?
We're still in Chapter 1, but this is our first Swordcraft opponent.
Oh yes. Okay, so this is Swordcraft as a class, I suppose we can talk about for a little bit. So Swordcraft is another one of the classes that you can play, similar to what we are playing, which is Dragoncraft. Swordcraft doesn't have a special ability though. Instead, a lot of the Swordcast followers have traits that kind of give them synergies. Some are officers, some are commanders, and those are not, it's not a specific like, hey, this is an ability that the entire thing gets. It's just these cards have that specific hyper synergy. They're typically really aggressive because they can they have pretty low to the ground followers. They've got low costs on everything, so they can quickly summon a bunch of little dudes in a row. They're really fast, and they, as a result of that, when they kind of get everything in their hand on the board, they run out of steam really quick. Which, as you can probably guess, plays very, very handily into us playing Dragoncraft, because we are there for the mid and late game. So if we can survive their initial aggression, and we can get to a place where we're sitting comfortably, on the board, and it seems like we are because we're about to drop one of the best cards in the game on this poor guy.
I originally was like, you'll never see this card, as I immediately go to play it.
This is the second time that I didn't think we would see Fafnir played in the low ranks that we've seen Fafnir played in the low ranks.
Yeah, well, I happened to draw it. It was convenient. And that's it. That's an easy. Yeah, it's an easy GG. Yeah, cool. It's like drawing Bahamut or Shadow Bahamut.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So the other thing, you kind of talked about it a little bit, but like the reason why I like running this game is because the packs and everything are random. So like we buy like literally 2 standalone cards this entire run. And that's just because they're like important parts of our deck and we want to guarantee a couple of them. But in general, this is kind of like RNG. It's nice because it's safe. I can rematch anytime, even on like the most pivotal match. I can be in the final duel of this run and I can just rematch, which is really nice. And if I do lose a match, which is common, even my PB has like 3 losses. Every time you do a match, even if you lose, you're gaining money, you're gaining XP. Leveling up will get me new cards, as well as getting some money means I can go and buy some other card packs. So if I happen to find my back up against a wall and, you know, the deck builds go poorly, I can always take a second, buy some new packs, beef up my deck, and kind of jump back in it. And it's like a very minor time loss. But it's fun. I always like to kind of describe this game as like speed running your like local card game shop's draft night, because you're just gonna get a certain number of packs during the run and you try to build a deck and run with it. And
we do obviously have like there's a set of cards that we're specifically looking for to kind of put together exactly what we would want in a deck. But there's no guarantee, as Star said, that we're going to get those. So we've got a list of backups for basically each of the builds that we're going to be doing. So ideally, we get basically everything that we want, and we can put together, you know, the precise build that we're looking for. But if things don't go according to plan, we can get there.
Yeah,
it may be a little rocky, but we will get there.
Yeah, I generally have like, you have a deck of 40. I think for every build, we're guaranteed at least 30, I want to say, just based off of like the initial cards we get. And like my build guide, I think usually goes to like 44 to give me a little bit of wiggle room on top of Bo is staring at my notes to see like all of my backups. It just saves me from like staring at specific cards to be like, wait, which ability does this have again? But in general, like, again, even with my PB, I've never built like the perfect like 40 card deck I've wanted, and that's okay. Yeah. It again makes this fun. And so catching up story wise, right, we fended off the student council, and they gave us 2 conditions in order to keep the club around. One is to finish recruiting enough members to have a proper club, which is 7. Which is why we're out trying to talk to people and recruit some folks. And then the other is to win nationals. We're not going to win nationals during this run. That's a long run. And so this gives me the opportunity to talk about what the category actually is, which is Bronze Cup. And that is our first major tournament arc. So we'll go through doing all the recruitments to build our team. We'll go through kind of like a mini qualification section, and then it'll end with the Bronze Cup, which again is like our first tournament arc. And it makes for like a fun, like digestible run when like the any percent is like 6 or 7 hours. This kind of, you know, gets this down to like 2.5 hours. So it makes it a lot easier to kind of digest. It makes it fun and repeatable, and you see just enough of the game that you'll see the different card types, you'll see like a good variety of battles, you get introduced to like almost all the characters. That's why I run Bronze Cup. It's like it's digestible and got just enough variety to make it really fun. And I know I've been going, but I haven't been going super quick, so you do have a little time to talk Shadowcraft as we are up against our first Shadowcraft opponent.
All right, can do. So yes, we're now into chapter 2 proper. We're gonna start to get introduced to the other classes that this game has for us. So our first prospect battle here, we're trying to recruit this guy for the club. And they are playing Shadowcraft. So Shadowcraft has a special ability called Necromancy. It's effectively a secondary cost that uses shadows, which is the number of cards in your discard pile, as a currency. So in addition to playing with the play points that we have on the right-hand side, they are also tracking. You can see the purple skull below their count in the top right there. That is their shadow count. The number of shadows gets depleted when you use it, and necromancy effects are applied if you have enough shadows when the card is played. This is kind of like a very late game deck. You want to really feed your yard. You want to make sure that you have shadows to use when you reach the end game. It can be aggressive. It would need like a pretty specific set of draws to do that, but generally speaking, Shadowcraft is going to be a lot slower, and since we have geared ourselves towards playing way faster, it shouldn't be too much of a problem for us.
I was typically, when I'm playing through, my goal is to defeat this specific opponent before they get out that card on their left side there. It is not a signature card, because signature card means something specific in this game. But that is like the most notable card in their deck, which is Ghost Rider. And normally I hold on to my spell cards for that, but I actually been working with like a hard draw. You could see I've been like out of cards for a hard minute here. So like we are kind of already in a back against the wall situation with 2 wards, a lot of strong enemies on the board. Like I just need to chip some damage, but a Dragoncraft deck doesn't have really any cards that are going to do that kind of like chip damage, that like direct chip damage. So yep, I had a feeling that was going to be SOL letting that match go that long. So now you can see like how quickly like we rematch.
Yeah, and this as Star mentioned earlier, this is one of the draws of this category, and I would probably say the game in general. Like, the point is for you to do fights, to win, to progress the story. So at no point, there's not really a fail state. Even if you lose a little bit of time because a fight goes long and then you get an unfortunate draw, like what happened to us there, or if a fight goes super duper quick because you don't get a good draw, like, it is not a ton of time lost to just hop right back into it, throw some more cards at their face and hope for the best. It's unfortunate for sure, but it is by no means the run is not close to over.
Yeah, there's a reason why I have a very wide estimate, because yeah, you never really know what's gonna happen. So again, it makes it fun. It also, you know, means that you might have an early rematch. So I'd much rather rematch these folks than some of the boss fights, but we'll get there.
100% agree. There's some straight up cheating that happens in those boss fights, and it's much better to just like, all right, yeah, like I'll play another game with this guy. This guy is fine. He's a nice dude, nice enough, you know, fella. We'll play more games with him. Do I want to play against Takuma again? Not particularly. We'll get there when we get there, but oh boy, that is a deck. But yeah, so we're just gonna be we're gonna be shaving away that life total. Our goal for most of what we're gonna be doing is to attack that their health directly. What we're kind of aiming to do is just do as much damage as we possibly can in the shortest amount of time, because obviously that is fast. Generally, that means we're going to be trying to avoid the board if we can.
Yeah, we're not gonna clear a lot of followers generally, which kind of makes every build a bit of a glass cannon build, even if that's not traditionally what it's there to do. It's gonna be what we do because we don't care, and also especially the lower rank opponents, they're gonna usually want to trade rather than attack directly.
I'm coming.
Yeah, they kind of inadvertently manage the board for us, which is helpful for the strategy that we're going for. But also it means that is just one less thing. We don't have to worry about that at all at that point, which is super duper nice. Oh, so I think we mentioned we did mention that evolution is something that you get access to, but I don't know if we actually talked about what it does for you.
Yeah, no, I can speak to that because now I'm between duels, so it's a little bit easier to talk.
Let's do it.
And that ending combo there specifically, Disaster Dragon is kind of what I lean on in the early game, especially with this like first build, because it actually gets stronger. It gains extra attack during its turn, which is nice. But evolutions are kind of how you get around some of that summoning sickness. So when you evolve, not only do you, in most cases, not all cases, in most cases, it's a flat plus 2/2. And then you also get rush, which means you can attack that same turn. So a common combo is to summon a card, evolve it, and then attack that same turn. But you'll see two specific cards that we kind of fish for with this deck and the Bloodcraft deck I run. For Dragoncraft, it will be Dragon Warrior, which allows me to damage on evolution. So if you kind of were counting the play points, you're like, wait, that wasn't a 2/2. Instead of getting that same plus 2/2, I think it's a plus 1/1. Instead of getting that same sort of like improvement, Dragon Warrior deals damage on evolution, so I can select an opponent and deal 3 damage to them, which is really nice. And then when we get into Bloodcraft, and I'll talk a little bit more when I get there, but there's a similar card with Bloodcraft that you'll see me evolve because it deals 2 damage to my opponent. And the fun thing here is that this is basically the deck I will be using for like the rest of the run right here. So we're gonna exchange deck codes every time you finish a fight. You'll exchange deck codes, and so I'm gonna get her deck code. So this is a little bit of a preview of the deck I'm gonna be running with for like the rest of the game.
Yeah, so this is the second person we're trying to recruit to our club. They're playing Bloodcraft, as mentioned. Bloodcraft, the special ability for that class is called Vengeance. When our life points are at 10 or less, all of our cards will have secondary effects. And since we are kind of playing this extremely aggressive, very glass cannon playstyle for a lot of these, we are, in addition to just kind of taking passive damage because we're playing so aggressively, we are also going to be playing with cards that reduce our own health to reach that threshold to get our secondary abilities. So in the same way that Shadowcraft has special abilities that get automatically triggered when we play, or when you have enough shadows, enough cards in your graveyard, this is going to, as soon as your life is below 10, all of your Bloodcraft stuff gets extra effects.
And she insisted on a rematch, so here we are again.
Oh, okay. Goodness gracious! I don't think I've seen that before.
Yeah, it was a misclick on my duel instead of talking to her, which automatically triggers the duel. So I did the actual fight and got her deck code, but I forgot to say like, hey, join the Shadowverse club. So quick rematch.
I see. So now we're going to tell them to join the Shadowverse club.
Yeah.
But yes, so we're going to be playing an extremely aggressive, really low to the ground Bloodcraft deck for pretty much the rest of the run until the very last fight. So we our goal is going to shift from defeating the opponent to defeating the opponent before we accidentally defeat ourselves.
Yep. I've done it many times.
Yeah, it's easier to do than you would think. But it is, yeah, it'll be fun. So shortly after we finish this duel, we're gonna go do a couple of pickups. We're gonna spend some money on some cards, and we're going to, continue progressing the story for this tournament arc.
We'll get a little bit of a tour of the town.
yeah, we're gonna take a walk around the school grounds and everything, and kind of see what they've got going for them, which should be pretty fun. And then towards the end of that, we will get to we'll do a couple more duels before this chapter is over. But yeah, there'll be a little bit of downtime once this run is good to go, and we'll be able to pick back up again probably when we actually get into building that Bloodcraft deck that we're talking about. So
Yeah.
if there are any announcements or anything like that from the host, now is probably a pretty solid time to toss them out there.
100%.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, I will do so. I believe this is a good time to tell people not only are you watching this event, but this event is in support of our friends over at Able Gamers. With your help, they are working every day to make sure people with disabilities have the same opportunities and positive experiences through play as anyone else. With their nearly 2 decades as pioneers in inclusive play, thousands of hours working with people with disabilities, leading developers and engineers, they create opportunities for players to find inclusive places to play and connect with family and friends. And as you're well aware if you're watching here, that is ever so important, not only for the enrichment of your own life, but to help you engage with your community and find like-minded folks, regardless of distance or grouping. I don't know what I'm going for on that one.
You're good. I know what you
But
mean.
yes, we ever so appreciate. Yeah. We
Gotta find your people.
So far.
Mhm.
And we appreciate everyone who is even just watching along and helping us bump up the numbers, because we are a new event. We appreciate we're small, so thank you very much for following along. Do come along and check out our Discord, our Blue Scare, our YouTube channel, where everything will be uploaded after the fact. And if you're feeling especially generous, then please do type !donate in chat, where you can learn more about the bid war that's going on. How about you tell me a bit more about that, Darwin?
Yeah, I have time because we're gonna wait on Alice to bump into us. So for the final duel against Takuma in the Bronze Cup final, normally I play a Dragoncraft deck. Bo talked about this a little bit, but it's a pretty natural counter to Swordcraft, which is what Takuma plays. So, if you do want to see me play it, it is cool to see. I kind of threw out Fafnir already, which is kind of like the best card I'm gonna get probably for this run, but there are 2 more deck types that you will see coming up, one of which is going to be this chapter 2 boss. That is Runecraft and Havencraft. They're not my typical run. They're probably not the optimal matchup even. I would say they're both actually a little bit tough matchup. But they are certainly viable. So Runecraft is going to be purely spell-based almost. I think I have like maybe 5 or 6 followers in that deck, depending on how my build goes. And so that one's going to be just like combo after combo of spells with me spell boosting, which we'll hear about spell boosting when we battle against our friend Kai here at the actually very soon. And then Havencraft, which is another deck type that we'll see a couple times, which uniquely uses countdowns. So you saw the amulets, which are those kind of green cards. For Havencraft, they have specific amulets called countdowns, and you literally will play those cards and wait a set number of turns before those cards go into effect. And that is generally how Havencraft will summon their followers. There are some direct followers, and in order to survive that battle, I do have to back up my deck with a lot of followers to kind of pad things out. The fun thing there is you can get some incredible swings with that, where you see like, okay, like 4 cards counted down all at once, and now we've packed our playfield and we're just gonna unload. So both of those options kind of go from your kind of like typical control, which is what we're doing with Dragoncraft, into kind of late game combo heavy. So very interesting. If you've not seen me play, or if you've seen me run this before, I have actually not run either of those deck types in a marathon before, so you would have only seen this in my practice. But you have until the end of the run, so you will know very well when I am there, because I will be in the tournament. You have time during the tournament, but get your bids in now. Like, take a look at the card classes as we're introduced to them and bid for your favorite.
Yeah, definitely.
And we are going into our next build here. We're going into Bloodcraft, and this is basically the run. So
yeah, this is going to be the deck that we use until the last fight in the game. So our hope here is that we have pretty much everything that we're aiming to have for this deck. To reiterate, our goal is this is going to be, we're going to have similar deck building expectations for this one and for the one that we have been using so far. We want to trim out the really high cost stuff. We want to add some stronger, lower cost cards in order to push our early game advantage. Bloodcraft specifically has a lot of cards that have keywords that are super duper good for us, namely Rush and Storm. Rush lets you attack enemy followers the same turn it gets played, so it's haste minus, and Storm lets you do that and or also attack their life points directly. So that's kind of like haste plus. Ideally, Storm, we want more Storm cards because our goal is going to just be to point all of these lines at face anyway and just try to reduce their life as quickly as possible. But if we have, a couple cards here and there that have Rush, we should be able to cover the board a little bit if we need to.
yeah, I think for this deck it is all Storm. I don't think I have any Rush. And then in this build, it was a pretty solid build. Getting a couple of Blood Wolves is what I want to see. I got one Ambling Wraith, which is also good because, again, you want to see those early cards come in. But I did mix things up, so this deck will look a tad different from what you saw last time, Bo, because I didn't have the same kind of draws. So just trying to mix up. I don't quite have the same late game to build towards. I got really lucky last time I ran this game and had cards that were kind of worth trying to bait out that late game with, or to have as backups to just close out the late game. So we're doing a little bit more heavy in the 2s and 3s that you'll see.
Yeah, cool. So we're gonna be focused more on the early game this time around. Doesn't sound like we have the bombs that we were hoping for, which is,
it's common
nature of random. Yeah. But this is our runecraft tutorial, right? Kai here.
Yep, this is our first runecraft, and this is kind of like our first boss fight.
Yeah. So this is well, we are fighting Kai again after this as well, right? This is or did we do?
No.
Did we get through his tutorial already? This is the tutorial.
No, this is, you do not, this is the boss fight. I also just split out my notes. Sorry for the inside baseball. I have separate notes for the boss fight itself versus the deck
class.
type itself.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So, all of that aside, runecraft cards don't have special abilities, but similar to swordcraft, all of their stuff does have unique card effects. So the two big ones here are Spell Boost and Earth Sigils. So if we were to play a runecraft deck for our the final boss fight of this run, we would be leaning more into the Spell Boost side of things. So it's going to be a lot of spells that do things right away, not a lot of things that are going to, we're not going to have many followers in the deck. So our board is going to be pretty sparse a lot of the time.
Yeah. Spell Boost is very, I'll say Spell Boost is very combo heavy. Earth Sigil is very like control heavy, which is kind of why that distinction is made.
Yeah. So when you have a card with Spell Boost, they have effects that trigger basically every time that you would play a spell card. They either become cheaper, become stronger, or have some other effects that play around with that. So you want to just cast a ton of spells when those cards are in your hand to really crank them up. Earth Sigils, on the other hand, are it's a currency. it is kind of depicted the same way that amulets are. So those green constant effect cards that we've seen a couple times already. They when you are playing cards with Earth sigils, they will either make new sigils or they will spend the sigils that you have already. To just reiterate what Star said, spell boost tends to be really combo heavy, really aggressive. You want to get in there and throw basically everything on the table as quickly as you can, and Earth sigils tend to be more of a defensive, control oriented build. For this fight, has a couple of cards that are a little spooky for us. He plays Chrono Witch, which revives followers that were defeated in the previous turn when it evolves, which obviously is a pretty big deal.
That's why I just purged that card.
Yeah,
I was like,
ooh, I want to see that card.
I was like, my health is very low, so I was like, I don't know, like all my cards in my hand will damage me when I play them. So it's like, do I want to risk it? But I could not. Yeah, like if Chrono Witch got to evolve, like that would have been it. So we made it.
A large problem for us to deal with.
Yeah.
So we ended up getting through there.
You can keep talking a little bit about the deck and some other stuff, because we're gonna have a lot of talking that I'm gonna fast forward through.
For sure, yeah. So we are now done with chapter 2. We're moving into chapter 3 now. We were able to dodge. Did we see any Runeblade summoners? We
did have one. So another thing in my deck build, I don't think I played it last time. I included Vampire Queen, which is a very defensive card. It throws out 2 forest bats, and then any forest bats in play automatically get ward. It's a quick way to like spam my board quickly and to like stall for a turn. And so he had packed his entire side, and I was kind of in a lot of danger there, especially as my health was getting chipped down. So that's why you saw me play that, evolve that, which is not necessarily an optimal play, just so that I could take out one of his followers and then force, because of the ward, force him to kind of go through my followers instead of attacking me directly. That's kind of why I was on a knife edge there, because I was already low HP. Everything in my hand was going to damage me. I couldn't really afford to take too many hits. So,
yeah, very well navigated for sure. And that again is one of the huge draws of this game, is that
there's a lot of improv.
In that kind of, being in that situation and having to make that judgment call, like, okay, should I include this card in my deck? What are the use cases for it? Maybe it's worth having in there, sure. And then when it shows up, it's like, great, this is exactly the situation that I wanted this for. And had we not had it, there's a high chance that we would still be fighting Kai. We would be rematching right now. So.
Yeah, I could have tried to push to end one turn faster, but that also, like, it was very likely I would have still lost. Like, I had the damage to defeat him, but I think he only needed 1 or 2 more damage to defeat me. And that's just kind of how it goes. There's always a little bit of mental math happening there, which is why every now and then I get a little bit quiet. Because I always have to think about like what is in their deck and what's on the field and like what's the potential output of damage. I mentioned that like the AI likes to trade. Even the easiest AI will kind of change their mind and start attacking directly if they can defeat you that turn. So you will know you are done very quickly once you have like followers on the field. I'm like, oh, they didn't attack my followers. Oh, I'm dead, aren't I? So
yeah. the canary in a coal mine, if you will.
Yeah. And we are starting Operation Pop. Sorry, I'm gonna try to get through this quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is a thing I can at least talk through. Operation Pop is meant to be like, let's recruit new people, but instead it's just kind of just doing S-Links, like a la Persona with all of our club members. And so we're going to do a quick side quest with everyone. And Kai here kind of has a detective thing going on. And so we are kind of trying to solve the mystery of who broke this vase. Like we got to the Shadowverse club room. We saw the vase has been destroyed. And so we collect the evidence and everyone's alibi. And so we clearly know who broke the vase. That's right. It was a cat. It's a weird, like, non sequitur that pops up in a lot in this game. Like, when we were doing the prospect battles, like, the prospects I could have said was like, let's talk to first years, or the option was also like, let's talk to some cats. So I love that. I guarantee you that does not come out of nowhere. It sounds odd in the speedrun, but if you actually, like, read all the text, it's like, oh, there's a collar and some scratch marks and some fur. So it's pretty obvious that it was a cat. But yes, I love kind of how out of the blue it sounds as a result of the speedrun.
Yeah, it's definitely it definitely flashbangs you a little bit. You're like, wait a second, why suddenly this side quest is a goofy answer when we've been and then you realize, oh, I guess we've been playing card games with people the entire time, so that does make a little more sense.
Yep.
But yeah, we're this entire chapter basically until what the very last fight.
Last two fights.
Last two fights. Ah, yes, because there is
back-to-back boss fights. Yeah.
But
yeah.
Yeah, this is another great time to for us to explain anything that people may have questions about, if you have any in the chat, or for our lovely host to toss out any reminders or any other information that they may have, because it is just going to be a lot of this.
Yeah.
Until we get back into the proper fighting of
for a little bit. We'll have one duel mixed in. It's against a runecraft opponent, so that doesn't necessarily need any additional explainers. And I will say to chat, I would love to know if you could throw in a donation. Like, what was, like, we did off the top, like, favorite, like, Saturday morning cartoon? Like, what was your favorite Saturday morning cartoon or favorite anime growing up? And then, like, also, like, if you do play card games, like, what is your favorite card game? Like, do you actually play Shadowverse? Like, I actually don't know too many people that play Shadowverse. I know a ton of people that play, like, Magic and Hearthstone. I know Magic is having a minute. So, like, hey, get in there. I would love to learn about, like, one of your favorite shows or, like, one of your favorite games.
Well, while we wait for people at home to tell us more about that, I have some fantastic news in the form that we have a donation here to the tune of $25.
Let's go.
A lovely anonymous donator. Thank you very much to that. And of course, that has gone towards our bid war. Currently, Dragoncraft is in the lead at $25.
People love the dragons.
So, yep, looks like there's a bit of a wall to get over if you want to see something else. And hey, I'm not going to say make it easy for the runner.
If it's not Dragoncraft, it's going to be a little bit tricky. Again, Bo has my notes open. Bo can attest to, I do not have notes on that build. I do that on the fly.
Yep. Yeah, there is nothing in here about what that's going to be, which is exciting, because it's new. That means it's also new to me, which would be very cool. But also, it's all going to a good cause anyhow, chat. So regardless of which deck you think would be the cool one to see for the very final fight of this game, the coolest thing we can do is shoot some money over to Able Gamers. So,
which is a fantastic cause.
Some additional, it is indeed. Some additional news. Then we have, unfortunately, we had a runner drop out further on in the day, so we're going to have to figure that one out. I can, of course, confirm that was the.
Drum roll, please. Drum roll, please.
Unfortunately, there were some issues with our runner for Metat64. I believe I'm pronouncing that vaguely correct? Question mark. So unfortunately, we will be replaying that with an OG Prince of Persia run from our friend Mike, I believe. But that does mean that the milestones have clicked back. If you want to see Azure Striker Gunvolt 3 Puppy Gunvolt being it met, we are now near $10 away from seeing that. Never mind, I've just tabbed over and there's another donation in. We've met that goal.
Way to go, way to go.
Well done indeed. Caspi for bringing us home on that one with a $10 donation. Favorite card game? Question mark. Balatro. Probably. Do I care?
No, that's completely fine. That's completely fine.
Technically correct, which is the best kind.
The best kind of correct, yes. Hey, I am still working
And
on
that is
getting
also
every
gone
gold chip.
towards direct.
So, oh, people want to see the dragons.
I mean, that's
Indeed,
good for
indeed.
us.
So now it's got quite the lead.
Well, thank you all for being so
Salvin, and
generous.
Your hair. Tell us more about what's going on.
Yeah, we had a couple of moments here that I'll like cover real quick. So this fight, like the big card that they're throwing out is Flame Destroyer. We already saw one come out as well as one Runeblade Warrior, or Runeblade Summoner. So it's another spell boost heavy deck, but if you're like watching the numbers go by, you saw some very big numbers. So I had to throw out a lot of my like strong spells to kind of like hold that off, but luckily the nice thing about Bloodcraft is I have some direct attack spells, and so that's how we're closing out that fight. So that one got a little bit scary. You could saw I got down to 7 HP. I really run out of options if I do really like damage myself down, because again, I have a lot of strong cards. Those cards deal anything between like 2 to 4 damage to myself. And yeah, if I don't do my mental math right, that means I just accidentally lose a match because I kill myself. So that one got a little bit scary.
That was Polite Girl, yes?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So that's the only not boss battle that we're going to be doing in this entire chapter.
Yep.
So we've got one more side quest to do before we see our next fight. But we're basically going to be chatting with Hero, and we're going to be helping out Hero with their side quest.
Yeah, and ignore the fact that I keep bumping into the student council president, and you know, they seem to be a mess. Like they seem to be tired or something. I mean, we just took them to the nurse's office. It's okay. But you don't need to worry about them at all.
They'll be all right.
Yeah, because again, like, you know, we're here to Operation Pop is promote our popularity. Like we want to get new people interested in the Shadowverse Club. So again, it's a little odd that we are only doing side quests for existing Shadowverse Club members, but you know, hey, I'm not going to question their logic. We get there eventually. Spoilers, we will get there eventually.
Yeah. It's the power of friendship that they always talk about on the Saturday morning cartoons. We're just kind of, you know, we're investing in the power of friendship. It will pay off in dividends later. So
Yes.
Stay tuned.
Yes, I mean, we will definitely get the gang together to enter the Bronze Cup. I'm not the only representative from the club, and we are trying to take down a bully. So we are usually doing our best to, you know, do some good, right? Like, Shadowverse is supposed to be fun. We don't like the idea of someone bullying people over Shadowverse.
Yeah, that's not okay. Not even a little bit.
Yeah, so one of the things you'll see, like, I know it's, like, I'm zooming through text, it's really hard to see. So, you know, we were, again, trying to promote our popularity. We were looking for someone else. We need one last member. We need the 7th member. That's why Chapter 3 is called the 7th member. And so, as we've been going through this, there's been a rumor going around school that there's, like, a really strong duelist at the Shadowverse Stadium who is wearing a mask. They're being called the Masked Maestro, and people think that it's a Tensei Academy, which is our school uniform. They're not 100% sure. So after kind of talking around school and trying to see what we can get from rumors, we're like, hey, let's just go there directly and see who this person is. And that's who we're bumping into here. Doesn't look like anyone we know, not at all. And so we're going to try to confront them. And they don't want to be talked to, and so they kind of leave. And so this is when we bump into my friend Saya, and Saya's a unique matchup. So right now I'm C rank. If you look super quick as we start this match, you'll see Saya is master rank. I assure you, this is not a scripted battle I am supposed to lose. This is a battle I need to win. And so what kind of happens is Saya will kind of toy with us and just kind of make my life miserable. So, Bo, if you want to talk a little about Saya, his signature card, and kind of like how he runs his deck, I'm going to try to push through this early game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as mentioned, Seiya, this fight is kind of like if you walked into your local game store and you got paired with a literal professional. This guy gets paid money to play this game somewhere. Like, he is extremely good. This is a spellcraft deck that kind of works with earth rights. So this is going to be the other side of spellcraft that we've kind of talked about.
These guys right
already.
here.
Yes. So they are going to be making a lot of earth rights. They're going to be making a lot of earth sigils. So making and spending those sigils in order to activate special effects for both his spells and also his followers. He turtles a lot. It's a super defensive, very control-oriented build, and he's going to, as this fight goes on, in order to keep us from doing a ton of damage directly to him, he's going to be playing a lot of very strong ward cards. So again, we can't, when there's anything with a golden shield on their side of the board, we cannot attack their life points until that shield dies, and he plays good ones. His signature card is really scary. It's called the Great Magician. When it evolves, it banishes any follower on our board. So it requires that by itself is already really bad, right? Like, we can replace our hand, we can do this, but we're not playing a deck that goes very far into the late game. So if we lose one of our really expensive cards, that can be a very big problem in very short order. There is an extra layer to this, though, which makes it even scarier than that. And that is, if there is an Earth Sigil on the board and he evolves Great Magician, instead of banishing our follower, he will take it. He will steal it, and it will become his. So as you might imagine, we really want to end this as quickly as we possibly can to avoid that even being a possibility. We're going to be doing our best to get through this early game and do as much, chip damage as we can. And then the hope is that when we do see Great Magician, if we see Great Magician, we probably will, that it doesn't get to do any of the things that I just told you about. We don't want that card to be functional in any capacity. It becomes very difficult to deal with very quickly. So he's doing quite a lot right now.
Yeah, I'm in a bit of a scary spot here, and I don't have a ton of options to kind of keep the pressure up. Sorry, I'm just thinking out loud. That's gonna deal that. I'm actually gonna. We'll do an evolution here. He is set up. So he has enough play points. He has an Earth Sigil in play. He is most likely going to summon his Great Magician and steal a card. So I damaged myself down. There you go. I damaged myself down so that I can play Abyss Beast next. Oh, is he going to trade instead? Interesting.
Well,
okay.
Thankfully, he doesn't have any evolutions left.
Oh, I baited out his evolutions.
He dodged the bullet there. Yeah.
So I damaged myself down for no reason. Go figure.
Probably still the safe play regardless. Just guarantee that you get the access to the abilities and everything.
Yeah, speaking of safe plays, again, I'm going to go a little safe and put out some wards here. So I'm going to use, again, my Queen Vampire I'm going to trade with his ward, and then I'll be able to block a couple of attacks. And then I have a bunch of cards ready to kind of push through the rest of this fight. But yes, this has been a nervy one.
Yeah. So I guess something else important that I don't think we spoke about was the difference between going first and second in this game. Generally speaking, we're going to want to go second in basically every possible way that we can. And our reason for doing this is if you check out the player portraits there, the avatars, you'll notice that Seiya has 2 evolution points, or 2 little diamonds underneath his health, and we have 3 on the left side of ours. That's because we went second. So going second gives you access to an entire other evolution, which is, as you have probably put together, a huge benefit for us. It's extremely powerful. So guaranteeing that we have access to that kind of thing and there, it is random, so there's no real way for us to guarantee that we go second. But if we get to go second, we will always have one in the tank when they run out of theirs. A lot of the really strong effects that we're going to be seeing from our opponent's signature cards are specifically when they are evolved. I think you were telling me last time that in the anime, Hero's signature card is just like absurd and broken in every possible way.
It's very good. It's very good.
We don't have anything like that right now, unfortunately. But similarly, there's a lot of extremely difficult to deal with signatures in this speedrun that we have to navigate around.
Okay, that was scary, but that is GG on Seiya, so that's a first attempt Seiya, which is good. We went long. We went long on the turns, but as you saw, I kind of had to pivot and go hyper defensive because he
we went
really
long and we didn't lose, and that's the important thing.
Yeah, he loves to drag out those fights. And again, yes, strong wards. I was very lucky to bait out that evolution. But yeah, you saw me getting ready. So I damaged myself down to use my Abyss Beast. I don't think I ran Abyss Beast last time you were commentating for me.
Yeah,
and that
doesn't
is
sound familiar.
Yeah, that is a late game card that has a fanfare on vengeance that deals 5 damage. So that's kind of my like, hey, I like, it's not an it's not an outstanding card, but it is a kind of like safe combo that doesn't rely on an evolution for me.
Gotcha.
But yeah, scary. And the other thing is that we haven't really talked about it before, but we fought a lot of no-name people, right? It's like student council member, polite girl, competitive boy, whatever it is. And so they will have important cards that I note about their deck because I've seen them played enough that I have a good sense of their decks. And we trade deck codes as well. So. But for any of our kind of like named characters, and it's pretty obvious who are like, major characters in this, they actually will have signature cards. And the way that this game kind of cheats is that these characters will always have access to their signature cards. So as long as there's one card visible in their hand, that one card could be their signature card. Typically, they're going to play it the first opportunity they get. So it's kind of, I was expecting Great Magician to come out a little bit earlier. But that is just something that'll happen. And they will also usually have 3 copies of their signature card. Yes, because I think I've seen Seiya play more than one. I'm going to do a quick deck edit to prep. If this is not the hardest fight in the game, this is pretty darn close to the hardest fight in the game. So I kind of want to do a little bit of prep. If you want to talk about why perhaps it's important for me to go second for this upcoming match.
Yeah, for sure. So the general gist for the next fight that we're going to have, we're going to be fighting Kagura. Kagura plays a Havencraft deck. Well, I'll talk more about Havencraft when we get into that proper duel. But Kagura's signature card specifically is the thing that we really want to dodge. It's called Holy Saber. If we were to go first, we have a very, very high probability of triggering its special.
It will automatically trigger. It is literally just if I go first, it happens. If I go second, it doesn't. It
gives itself a shield and every other follower on Kagura's board when it comes into play. A shield reduces all damage from all sources by 1, which means a lot of our really cheap, really low to the ground cards just can't do damage. They can't.
I have a lot of 1 attack cards. I have a lot of just stuff across the board. So you'll see her.
There is no minimum.
Yeah, and so you'll see her like pack the board if that happens, and then just attack me freely because all of my 1 attack cards do 0 damage. So she just gets a lot of free hits. It's a rough one. So this is always kind of like the biggest hurdle of this run. It's like middle of the Bronze Cup, and it's this are kind of like the 2 scariest moments for me. So holding my breath.
Yep, we got fingers crossed over here for the second place.
Oh, okay, we're doing it hard mode.
All right.
I've first timed Kagura many times on hard mode. This is not unheard of, but we are now playing an uphill battle.
Yeah. So to go more into what the rest of Kagura's deck does, Kagura is a Havencraft player. The special ability here is Countdown. So Havencraft uses amulets that trigger effects after counting down. So when they play cards, you'll kind of see them come in with a little timer on them, and when those timers reduce 0, whatever cards they had kind of stowed away under those timers suddenly become active. They have their effects trigger at that point. So Havencraft is extremely slow because you have to literally wait multiple turns for all of their things to happen. But as a result of that, and I think, Star, you mentioned this earlier as well, when we were talking about the incentive, but it does mean that you can set up certain turns to swing really hard in your direction.
Oh yeah.
If you can stagger some of the counters that you have so that like 3 or 4 of them are all kind of happening on that same turn when they count down, suddenly you have the entire board. Suddenly, like, yeah, it gets really ridiculous really quickly.
And you can see these are strong followers, and a lot of these followers will have like Storm or Rush. Like, this is a very hard fight for a reason.
Yeah. We can thankfully evolve now, but based on what's in our hand, I'm not sure how useful that will be to us at this moment. We really want to get to 6 so that we can jam some of our bigger stuff. But yeah, so this is... You may think, okay, well, if the idea is, okay, we really want to go second, we really want to try to avoid a huge board state from our opponent playing Holy Saber, etc., etc. Surely the end game, like the late game, should be okay, right? Wrong. Incorrect. The late game is also scary because now, in addition to all of the stuff that has already been played that's been counting down the whole time, there are just followers that are big and scary. A lot of stuff is going to have Storm, a lot of stuff is going to have Rush, and there is a specific card called Gabriel, which we have to really keep our eyes open for. If there are any other followers on her side in play, when Gabriel comes in, it permanently buffs their stats like for the rest of the fight. So similar to evolving, that's the effect that it has, which becomes very problematic for us very, very quickly. It can't buff itself, which is, I guess, a positive balancing factor of it, but it is tough to deal with.
There you go.
So and there it is.
This is why, again, I try to keep the board a little bit clear towards the late game, but there is honestly very little I can do to like actually deal with that. So
yeah, that was pretty much the best case scenario we could have hoped for. It coming in with nothing and maybe killing one of our guys instead of hitting us in the face. Definitely up there.
Yeah, very, very lucky setup that so I played a Blood Wolf to damage myself down into Vengeance. You saw me healing myself desperately to stay alive because, my gosh, I was in real danger there. But the problem is I healed myself past Vengeance.
Oh yeah.
So that makes it a little bit tricky.
That'll do it.
And so I played my just enough damage, yes. So I damaged myself down with Blood Wolf, that then gave me my Vengeance to then play and attack directly. So again, I have to hover around that like 10 play points. But yes, we have...
Yeah.
This has been a duel.
Yeah, we got there though. It looks like they're dead on board, yeah? Yeah.
Yeah, this is math is in my favor, right? Yep.
Yeah, you got this.
There you go.
Beautiful stuff.
So that, yeah, there you go. There's
hard mode defeated.
Yeah, that's the first turn hard mode. So,
and to note, I know that you called this out already, but chat, I cannot overstate. Kagura is like the fight that generally is the one that ruins good pace runs. this is the fight that you have to redo a bunch, and because you are literally flipping a coin between an easier fight and one of the hardest fights in the entire run, it can get real bad real fast. So clearing that first try is beautiful, and clearing it first try on hard mode is like, oh, chef's kiss. You love to see that.
Yeah, so Kagura is like dangerous from the speedrun perspective, because like Kagura and Seiya are both going to be like your longest fights. They just are strong and can either heal or shield really well. So even if you win, those fights kind of drag out. You saw both of those go a little bit long, but thankfully I didn't have to rematch them. But yeah, if I go first against Kagura, that's probably the hardest fight, quite easily. Avoiding Holy Saber makes it a little bit easier, but like Takama's no pushover for our final match, as well as like, honestly, I've lost to everyone in the Bronze Cup. As we are now in Chapter 4, there is no pushovers left. Everyone has a very strong deck and has enough damage to really push past like that kind of like I'm gonna hover around vengeance levels is gonna be really dangerous now, because most opponents could potentially burst me for like 7 damage in a turn, if not more. So we are fully in it now. Any fight can go kind of sideways. Again, this is makes it fun. Lots of improv.
That is definitely the draw. It kind of has like roguelike vibes to it, right? It's effectively a roguelike deck builder. You know what you're aiming for, but generally speaking, you kind of just have to roll with the punches, and whatever the game gives you is what you get to play with. So this is our first story battle of Chapter 4. We're fighting the captain of the soccer club, I believe. And
yes, he's upset because when Kagura promised to abandon the Shadowverse club, they were going to get some of that extra funding. So,
but now we're not abandoning the Shadowverse club anymore for reasons, and they are kind of upset that we're taking something from them, even though we're not. So this is is this the only time we see Forest Craft?
We'll see one more Forest Craft. We'll see a Forest Craft in Bronze Cup.
Oh yes, okay. Perfect.
Both are scary. Both play kind of similarly.
Yeah, Forest Craft itself, it is another deck building class like we've been speaking about. Forest Craft decks have their special ability is like 2 combo. It's called Rally. The general gist is the more cards that you play in one turn, the better that your effects get. This player in particular, the soccer club captain, does a lot of direct attacks with fairies that kind of get, they're very low to the ground. They cost very little, and those build up to Silverbolt doing direct attacks eventually. So we really want to try to put ourselves in, as long as we can get through the early game, that like really overwhelming, very wide board. If we can weather that, we're in pretty good shape.
Honestly, this is a match I want to rush, right? Like it's gonna be, like we're both gonna be playing early game decks. But yes, I am very scared of his late game more than anything. So,
yeah. The other kind of unfortunate thing about Forest Craft is that they take a lot of game actions because they're playing a ton of cards. So the longer that this fight goes, the longer actual, real, tangible time is being taken from us.
Yeah, which is not my favorite.
Yeah, it gets rough pretty quickly. So we're cutting it real close right now. We're sitting at 5, and we kind of need to deal with some of this.
He has an evolution, so that might be it if he evolves.
That might be it. Fingers crossed.
You want to see a trade? That's good.
We're fine.
Purify the forest.
Yeah, because he's going to be able to do 4 damage. Okay.
I'm gonna rest for a bit.
Ooh boy.
But
it's getting dicey.
At any point, so right now I kind of want to deplete his hand, because at any point he could Silverbolt. Silverbolt deals direct damage for every fairy in his hand. And so that means it can do up to 9 damage because your hand can be up to 9 cards. So,
You won't escape.
Which gets a little spooky as we get further on in there.
My life ends.
and I have like very little counters for what's happening. Okay, here's a very lucky draw. I'll take it.
Lovely.
I live by the sword.
Sorry, this is like a real knife's edge, but this is like my opportunity to heal, which is good.
Stand for side.
And I will have 1 play point left, or 1 defense left on that card. So, and in general, so how much is it? Well, it can't do so much. So they chose to attack my follower, which is good.
I mean, yeah, we take that. That is very, very positive for us.
Yes. So the one thing is that in general, I'm not going to risk the damage. In general, you will also see me attack followers semi-randomly. And that is because I want to have damaged followers in play. For whatever reason, the AI wants to finish off followers that are damaged. So there's a lot of opportunities for them to attack me directly, where they would instead trade or attack a different follower that is like a little bit more vulnerable. And so that just kind of makes it very lucky that I can kind of bait that out. And speaking of lucky, I have just enough damage to finish this off.
Ooh, let's go.
Yeah, this has been like a very tense run. Like, I don't think anyone's been giving me an easy time.
No, I don't think we've had any easy fights so far. Not even a little bit.
You saw the exact opposite last time.
Yeah.
Very lucky draws. So you never know how it's
and it's
gonna
really
go.
cool. It is super neat to see like literally the very first Bloodcraft deck build that you do can be so far in one direction or the other. I really love that. That feels like such a fun aspect of this run to be able to noodle around with. Is like, okay, cool. Like, you know, what I want to do is I want to play Dragoncraft and then build Bloodcraft and go as far as I can with that. But maybe you pull a ton of cards that make like a really early Spellcraft deck good, and maybe that's something that we roll with at some point. Like, it feels like there's a lot of routes that you could take with a game like this.
If I was like
RNG.
truly fast and like knew this game at a much deeper level, I probably could pivot between 2 decks for the mid game. Because the world record until recently, nobody's really played it this calendar year. But when they introduced Bronze Cup, which I think was early last year, it used to be Shadowcraft was the meta. And so it was only recently when there was a new world record holder and they played Bloodcraft that the meta changed to Bloodcraft. And I'm following their route and their guide, so which is why I also play Bloodcraft. And so, yeah, speaking of like what you were saying there, of like that ability to look at what I drew early and pivot, like if I had a good eye for like the cards I was drawing, very well, I could probably pivot between either Blood or Shadowcraft. And that first deck build also, as you would expect, has the biggest variance. Because there's less like guaranteed cards and less like packs that I've opened in general. So like I had a couple of good cards here, but like I don't have quite the same speed I did. So like the main difference you're seeing for me, and I know I'm sorry I'm like referring to my last run, but Bo's here on comms. The main difference you're seeing is that like I don't have the same sort of speed in my deck. I don't have as many direct damage spells, which is kind of how you get around some of these fights, especially fast. As well as I don't have as many of my cards that are either going to storm or strike, which I didn't mention strike. And so you're kind of seeing me pad out a little bit of that early game to give me just a little bit more strength in that kind of 2 to 3 range and a little bit more options to react in the 2 to 3 range. Because normally I'm going to rush up to like maybe a 4 to like throw out some powerful spells. And instead I'm just kind of, I'm kind of improving a lot more than normal. But I did throw out Strike and didn't mention that before. It comes up, but it's not super common. It's not normally how I build my deck, so I don't really call it out in my notes that much. I have it in like my general notes, but so how Strike works, Strike basically means that on combat, so as long as that card is engaged into a fight, it will trigger its effect, but I believe it has to initiate the combat specifically. And so when it attacks, regardless if it wins or loses, as long as it initiates combat, it's going to activate its strike effect. And so Takuma has one, for instance, that summons a card on strike. I believe we already played against the Runecraft deck that has a strike card. And so you would have seen something similar to that as well. But yeah, it's like it's an extra wrinkle, but because strike requires the card to initiate combat, it's a little bit risky. So if I play any strike cards, that's why you'll see me potentially evolve some of my lower level cards, and that is because I need to get I need to be able to initiate combat to do that strike.
Makes sense.
Oh my god! And I don't have. Okay, I need something. I don't have something, but I do have at least a counter, so there's that.
Ooh.
Okay. The one thing that is keeping me alive here specifically is she's out of evolutions. Oh gosh. Shh. Let's ignore the fact that I didn't realize I damaged myself down.
We don't have to mention it. It's fine. It's fine.
It's okay. So the fun thing I will say is here's a preview of the Bid War decks. So this deck specifically is one of them. So when I defeat this this player, we trade deck codes. So this is the Havencraft deck I will use if that happens to win the Bid War. And then the next opponent I'll be playing, which is a Runecraft deck, that is the other potential deck. Just for the sake of speed, I need to have a pre-built deck ready to go. And so these are like the two pre-builts that are like handy. So just getting more time to get a preview of the deck.
Yep, we can make small adjustments, before we go into that fight. Obviously, we're going to be doing that, but building one straight from scratch is far more difficult than swapping out a couple of cards that are less good for cards that are a lot better. It picks things up pretty quick for us. So, but yes, this is this Havencraft deck is using a lot of those countdowns like we talked about previously. The Pegasus one is pretty obnoxious. It makes a really big fella, which is not what we want to see.
Yeah, it's like a 5/3.
Yeah, which obviously then evolves into a 7/5 if we're that late in the game. And it's tough to deal with when we're trying to go low and get in underneath all of these big bombs. But yeah, we're our goal for Divination Lover specifically for this fight is we're just looking to get an early lead. We're expecting this fight to drag a little bit because it's a Havencraft deck. We know that like the way that these tend to work is that it's going to be a lot more of the late game. We're waiting for those timers to count down. We're waiting for the bigger spells that kind of make bigger countdowns for bigger creatures. So there's a lot of control on that side of the board, and we're going very aggressive here to try and get in underneath the real big problems, which it seems like we're doing pretty well at this time.
Yeah, they're forcing an early evolution out of me, but this is another scenario where I am purposely damaging myself to see if they're going to insist on a trade. Or I might bait an evolution out of his Priest Cudgel. Okay, no. That card, when it evolves, will banish, which I don't like to see.
Yeah, we don't want our stuff getting exiled for any reason.
I love the chaos.
Yeah, but given how strong this deck is, you can see I can't bypass a lot. They're forcing me into this fight. So this has been a tricky one.
Yeah, and it gets harder, you know, depending on how good or not good, as the case may be, your pulls have been throughout the game. So there are definitely pieces here that are like, if we had certain other cards that we would have wanted to have for this Bloodcraft deck, this fight in particular would become a little bit easier, but perhaps other fights become a little bit more difficult, and that's part of the fun.
I would have loved more
category.
spells. Desperately would have loved more spells to go into this fight.
More spells would have been great. Any number of lightning bolts that you could put into your deck, you're having a good time with a burn strategy.
Yeah, this is just scary right now. So I damaged myself into
Rage empowers me.
into a vengeance state so I could get a couple of my cards with vengeance out specifically. So I'm gonna evolve my nightmare to deal with that dragon. I don't want that 6/6 to get a turn. And then the other thing, I don't know if I have it called out in my notes, but this is specifically a Skullfane deck. You saw her play Skullfane once last turn. What happens with Skullfane and why it is specifically scary is that Skullfane, when played, destroys all amulets in play. So if you're looking at all those countdowns, you're like, oh yeah, they all have countdowns and they have skulls on them. That means when Skullfane comes into play, every countdown immediately finishes and all those cards go into play.
That
So-
does seem problematic for us.
That's why we have to be quite scared of the late game against this deck.
Time. Isn't demonic armor lovely? Go for it!
And yeah, there's
It
like
seems like we're in an okay spot at the moment.
On for size.
I am trying to do a lot of control here. It is a difficult situation. They're about to get a 4/4. That countdown's a 4/4. That means their next turn they'll have another 4/4. That Holy Sentinel, which got a big boost, is a very strong ward. So like, you know, we are in it. And again, unfortunately, because of how strong some of those cards are and my low health, I can't just ignore those cards that she's throwing out. Also, I've used up all my evolutions, so like, again, I am...
Yeah, we're in a rough spot here.
Yeah. I am praying for something big.
Something big?
Yeah, I didn't...
Please?
Yeah, I didn't get what I needed. And... yeah, I'm not going to be able to deal enough damage to take out that, so this is going to have to be a rematch.
Also a rematch, yeah. So again, chat, this is entirely based on like what we've drawn for our packs so far this game, plus whatever the computer RNG decides that it's
Yeah,
gonna put us through.
there was plenty of counters I could have had I drawn them. So I was in a bit of a rough spot there. I had kind of the build I needed for Vengeance, but I was lacking the cards to kind of clear the board to kind of keep that moving. So a little difficult. And now I'm sitting on 2 Wardrobe Raiders, which, you know, I have to wait until I can evolve to make those even useful. So, but yeah, getting a Blood Wolf early is exactly what we want to see. So that is good. And the other thing I will call out, you know, the first match we had against her, she did Skullfane us. That last time, like that match drew out, but she still didn't manage to Skullfane. Like if that card would have come into play at any point while she had all of those countdowns, that would have I would have instantly just quit and rematched right away because there would just be nothing I could do about that.
Yeah, that would have been backbreaking, I think, to say the least.
I just would not be able to deal with that many cards all at once, so. But hey, if Havencraft happens to win the final bid war, that is the card I get to potentially play on Takuma.
By the sword.
Yeah, that would be pretty sweet. Speaking of, while we're running this one back, maybe now would be a good time to get any potential updates on that bid war, and or hear about anything related to the charity.
Fantastic news. I will give you the standings as they are at the moment on that bid war. Dragoncraft is leading the pack at $35, with Havencraft and Runecraft trailing behind. So there is
Demonic
still...
armor lovely?
Pardon if you heard anything there, my cat has decided to adjust the microphone. Yes, there is still plenty of time in order to get that changed. Please do make sure that you are keeping an eye on that if you want to influence it. In the meantime, though, I will tell people about the wonderful charity that all of your donations go to help, in addition to helping make our runs slightly more exciting. Yes, we are doing this in benefit of Able Games. With your help, they are working every day to make sure people with disabilities have the same opportunities and positive experiences through play as anyone else. For their nearly 2 decades as pioneers of inclusive play, thousands of hours working with people with disabilities, leading developers and engineers, they create opportunities for players to find inclusive places to play and connect with family and friends. Thanks so much to everyone who has donated so far. You've done so much more than I could have ever asked. And even if you are just here to watch or follow, you are bumping up our numbers and helping us grow as a new marathon. Which, yeah, this is our first event, if you didn't notice. We are very much appreciative to everyone who is stopping by for this new event, and we hope you will stay around. Do be sure to follow us on YouTube, on Discord, and on Blue Sky for updates about our future endeavors. With that, though, I will give it back to you.
Yeah, we had
Perfect. Thank you for the update.
we had just enough time to push through a really strong bit there, and actually, without any wards on her side, that is GG. I'm just gonna throw out my Alucard. Since it storms, that is the match.
We got there.
Yeah, so bit of a tough one. You saw that I had to do a lot of like digging out. So like again, this is a card game based on big swings. Like regardless of like how the anime loves to do things, that is just legitimately what happens. You're gonna see, especially if I like take out some of these higher ranked opponents, there's going to be a lot of you wipe out my full side of the board, I wipe out your side of the board. It is not easy. So I want to attack directly, obviously, as much as I can. But if they have too much to like pressure me, that means I can't leave anything on my side of the field to attack. Like I really have to then go and address that. And that's kind of why I'm sad about the lack of spells in my deck.
Mm-hmm. And having spells would make this fight a lot more doable, because we're now fighting a Runecraft player who uses Flame Destroyer.
Yep.
Which is a very spooky card. They have 3 of them.
Yep.
And they will evolve them if given the opportunity.
Definitely. It's a natural 7/7 that will then evolve into a 9/9. Use spell boost. I believe it starts with like 10 play points is its cost. I'm going to draw up because I'm lacking in my hand. Okay. And so every time she plays a spell, she is spell boosting. Every card in your hand gets spell boosted when you play a spell. You could specifically target a card in your hand to spell boost if there is a like given effect. So certain cards will say like spell boost a specific card. That actually means you will get to spell boost twice in that instance. But here's your card with strike, by the way. This spell boosts on strike. It will actually reduce the cost of Flame Destroyer by 1 every spell boost. And so it's kind of a scary prospect the longer the fight goes on, because that means not only does that increase the chance that card comes out, it increases the card comes out like multiple times. Like for all I know, she already has all 3 in her hand and is just waiting to play enough spells to potentially throw 3 of them at me all at once. The other thing that she has in her deck is Dimension Shift. Dimension Shift costs 20 play points. But if you, similar to Flame Destroyer, it reduces cost every time you spell boost it. If you manage to play that spell, it skips my turn. So she will be able to play a full turn, it'll skip my turn, and it'll be back to her turn. That effectively lets her skip Summoning Sickness, lets her skip anything I could potentially do. And so a common combo you would see from her if she really hates me is she will summon some Flame Destroyers and then Dimension Shift, meaning that she can throw out like three of those 7/7s, Dimension Shift, and then attack with all of them immediately. So it's a rough one when it does happen, but I can no longer say that has never happened before because she's definitely done it to me once.
Understood. And there is one of the Flame Destroyers now.
Yeah, I'm very lucky that she didn't evolve it. I don't know why. And here's where, again, spells are very handy because that's just me bypassing. Yeah, again, I always want to try to attack directly. And with Bloodcraft, those spells are typically built around me attacking directly. They're fairly low cost too, so you will frequently see me get to a point where like I'm holding on to like 3 or 4 spells, and then it's just like I'm waiting for that turn where it's like I potentially have like 9 play points and I just throw out 3 and, you know, deal like 9 damage in one go or something. So to give you a little background of what's happening right now is, so we recruited enough people, and we are now trying to qualify for the Bronze Cup. We have to be rank B, and we are currently rank C. So we are going around and collecting play points. Think of this as like your star chips or something along those lines from, you know, a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament arc. We have to battle other people based off of their rank. They give certain points. And once we fill up our meter, which is 500 play points, we will be invited to a critical trial, which is basically just like a promotion match. And so we actually go against some B rank people first. We do that because I want to push past halfway when I get here. Everyone in this courtyard will only give me 100 play points when I battle them. Meaning I would have to do 3 fights in a row or 5 fights if I was trying to get all of my play points from these. So we get, we skip basically 1 fight entirely by, I'm just going to mulligan this entire hand, I don't like it. We skip 1 fight entirely by doing that Havencraft and Runecraft combo there. And then there's actually a B plot happening. I'm obviously skipping through cutscenes awfully quickly, but this is now we're getting kind of like the backstory of Takuma. We don't know who he is yet. I specifically had to not fast travel. I had to walk out of the classroom for that specific bit there just a second ago, because we needed to bump into him and kind of know who he is. So 2 things are happening. We're obviously trying to qualify for that promotion battle, and we're also trying to now confront the person who is being referred to in the school as the phone snatcher. So like the kind of brief glimpse of a cutscene you saw at the start of the chapter, this person will challenge you to a Shadowverse match and then steal your phone and destroy it, which is not cool. And so we are trying to find and confront this person. And so while we are getting our rank points, we are also kind of like talking to people and investigating. And so we're about to talk to Hiro and like get into like the meaty part of it where we actually try to find him and confront him in the night. But again, I want to make sure that I have all my rank points because the A plot, so to speak, will resume. Yeah, I'm not going to change my deck once we kind of go through that section. And so you'll see kind of what happens is I will get all my rank points. I will talk to Hiro. We'll go through that whole story sequence. And then like after all those cutscenes play out, I will immediately get a text message being like, "Oh, hey, you got your play points. Let's go and do the promotion match." And this is kind of one of the few time saves that are available in this game via routing. You've probably seen, like, as I've been going through this game, you know, it kind of has like a Persona-esque time of day system where it's like, all right, before school, during school, after school, evening. And so we're going to skip an entire calendar day. So it just kind of saves literally that, like, going through the motions of an entire school day. It doesn't save a ton of time, but again, it's one of those few things that we have in control that we can actually save time on. And specifically, we match up against a Bloodcraft because they're going to be kind of easy to defeat. They also play kind of a similar kind of glass tank or glass cannon build, so we should be able to defeat them quickly, which I did. And then I also go up against a Havencraft. This is technically, everyone here is a tutorial. This is like every class tutorial if I chose to like actually do this. And with him being a Havencraft, again, means a pretty slow build, and with him not really having, like, he doesn't have Skullfane in his deck, for instance. So he doesn't have a lot of options to really bump that countdown, so makes for a quick match.
What's so shy?
And those are all of our rank points, yeah.
All right, so now we are going to, as mentioned, we're going to get a text message or we're going to sneak out.
Yep.
We got to go investigate some unfortunate after-hours problems by running around and going to a bunch of dead ends.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah. So you were going to talk to Hero. We've both been like gathering information on who this person is, and ignore Luca. We won't see him in the run.
Hi, Luca. Bye, Luca.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of hi and bye in this run. I'm sorry. But yeah, like here's where you specifically see the time of day, right? Like this is now evening. I also have to sneak out of the dorm specifically. So I kind of hug the wall there to not wake up the caretaker of the dorm. But yeah, we're going to head out and kind of investigate this person that, again, has been seen challenging people at night. Another interesting thing is that, like, there are different people out and about at night. So, like, if you were playing this game casually and try to collect all the deck codes and battle everyone, you have to fight people during different times of day because you'll see different things. So that pickup I did earlier was one that I couldn't do because there are people who stand in front of that alleyway until you come out in the evening. So just a fun little note there of like, that is why that pickup is different. So we heard somebody was just attacked, and so we're gonna try and find them. They're like, hey, they couldn't have gone that far away, so we kind of look at these dead ends. I'm gonna do this pickup real quick. I'm just trying to get some extra rupees. This hasn't been the best build for me, so just getting a couple extra rupees makes a big difference. And yeah, clearly there's nothing over here, so he must have gotten away.
Totally not.
So
Where could they have gone?
Yeah. So, you know, we say like, hey, sorry, you know, we're gonna try to keep searching, and if we can, we'll try to find your phone, return your phone to you. Here's another hi and bye. This is Morrow. So hi Morrow, bye Morrow.
Bye, Morrow. Bye, Morrow.
Speaking of scary boss fights, though, my God, in your casual playthrough, Morrow is a nightmare. But you don't have to worry about that.
Would you actually fight Morrow? Because it's not in Bronze Cup, obviously.
Certainly not. I think a lot of them do kind of pop up in Gold Cup, because I think you literally do a gauntlet of going against like all the major characters in Gold Cup. Because I think Silver Cup is Luca. So you'll fight Luca, I think, in Silver Cup, and then I think you rematch Seiya, and then you fight Morrow in Gold Cup, if I remember correctly. And I also will, this is something that if you've watched my runs or my previous run, you'll know the name, but Bo, you don't know this. You end, like, so the end credits basically, because you got to see a little glimpse of post-game. The very final duel after you win the Gold Cup is you get invited to battle Leon. And so you'll battle Leon. And then that is kind of the end. You'll get, I think, Shadow Bahamut for defeating him. And you'll gain the rank of Grandmaster for defeating him. And that's kind of like or no, you gain the rank of Master for defeating him. And so that's kind of how that kind of goes out, which is why Gold Cup is your like any percent. There is a long post game, which is what I've shown as an incentive previous, which is where you have the Grandmaster duel. So Leon will actually text you after you've kind of finished the game, being like, hey, I have some new cards I've been working on, and I would like to see you challenge my like most difficult duelists yet. And you kind of get challenged to go and battle kind of like hard mode against like a bunch of different people you might have seen previously. Ultimately ending up with you hunting down Genesis keys to unlock, again, kind of Star Chippy, again, in Yu-Gi-Oh! Parlance, to then get the right to challenge him once again. You fight against his stronger, more experimental deck, which is a nightmare, and then defeating him gives you Grandmaster. You don't even get like a cool card or anything. You don't get to get his signature card. You just get to get Grandmaster. And then if you are really a glutton for punishment, which I am sometimes, you can rematch him again to get the Grandmaster rematch, which is the same deck, but slightly more aggressive AI and a slightly more top decking. So Leon is kind of your Pegasus analog, and I don't like seeing that, man.
Understandable, for sure. So we've started the trial to get promoted proper now, right?
Yep. So they call this in Universe, they refer to this as a critical trial, but to think of this in like practical terms, like this is a promotion battle. You kind of have to do like back-to-back promo battles. So if you're playing Pokemon ZA, you can literally think of this as the ZA Royale. Like, I ran around and got my rank points, and then by doing that, I got my ticket to enter into this trial where I'm doing like my promo match. So I feel like at least that's easier to explain now that ZA is a thing. And it's also what I've been playing casually on the side. So we have 2 back-to-back matches. So we have these are not rematches against anyone we've seen, but these are similar decks. So this is a similar, this is not quite the deck we just faced for Runecraft, but it is similar. It is a Flame Destroyer deck. So there are some heavy hitters when this goes on. You can see that there is a lot of play points there. That's an easy way. Yeah, turn 7 already. So you'll likely see some strong cards, but I'm literally sitting on like multiple Crimson Purges. I have a Wardrobe Raider ready to evolve, so I have some options for like wiping out any strong cards. But pretty straightforward fight, in the long and short of it.
The other big thing about this one, we did mention Flame Destroyer. We've already talked about how scary that card is. This child does not boost spell boost to get it out fast. It exists in the deck. We maybe see it. If we're seeing it, something's probably gone wrong.
It can happen, but yes.
Yeah. Neither of these 2 trial battles should be a big deal for us. The second one that we're going into now is a Shadowcraft deck. They have a couple of strong cards, but they're literally not notable enough to be included in the notes. We're just gonna play cards and send them at their face, and that's the whole fight.
Yeah. So again, inside baseball about my notes. This is kind of a match that you either just kind of win or lose. Like I'm not super concerned about her deck. There are specific cards. I'm sure I could note down what the specific cards are, but either you're going to get overwhelmed. She does a lot of Storm and has a lot of Bane cards, but generally she's going to get those combos out and overwhelm you, or you're going to be pretty safe. So you kind of just want to push your luck with this one. You really want to go aggressive, and more often than not, you're going to win.
Yeah, it seems like a very winnable race for
Yeah,
sure.
it's the thing you're probably going to lose to more than anything is like poor RNG. Like, if you don't have the cards to kind of build up what you need, then you're kind of SOL. All right, I'm gonna trade here because I don't want to have the Bane hit my stronger card. You saw the little scythe on that card. I've mentioned Bane a couple times, but we never specifically explained the mechanic. Similar to Strike, but unsimilar to Strike. As long as that card is involved in a battle, it will destroy its opponent. It can get destroyed. It doesn't matter. Once the battle resolves, it will destroy that card. So that is kind of how Bane works. You'll see it specifically come up with Takuma. I'm not gonna evolve. I'm gonna see if they're gonna trade nicely with me. But generally, how you use Bane cards is you're just gonna go ahead and attack something, right? Like, you don't really have to worry about like, hey, is this gonna win? Because it doesn't have to win. So you will frequently see them, throw out a Bane, and it's, if you pardon the pun, it can be the bane of my existence. And that
It
is
seems like a very useful tech cards to have. Like, I know I need to potentially deal with a big threat at some point, so I'll stick one or two of these guys in there that can maybe deal with it instead of a spell, but not an overarching strategy. Definitely like a smaller piece of a bigger gameplay.
definitely, it's one of those things that it synergizes really well with Shadowcraft, as you would expect, right? You're trying to pack your graveyard, and you're trying to delay your opponent. So throwing away cards rather than destroying them yourself, it's really convenient that you could throw a card at an enemy, destroy them, and also pack your graveyard. So that's why you'll see a lot of those in a Shadowcraft deck. But with that, we have finished our trial. You got the little congratulations, I've reached rank B, and that is the prerequisite to enter the Bronze Cup. So you're getting the group chat with everyone in the Shadowverse Club, everyone talking about their various qualifiers. So Hero specifically is also talking about like, hey, we confronted Takuma and he said he's going to be in the Bronze Cup and doesn't want to duel some loser. So we're excited that the both of us are going to be in it. So we're kind of like doubling our chances to take him down. But this is kind of it, right? Like, we have the two of us representing our Shadowverse Club who have qualified. Memori is nervous about us because she knows that we're heading out to confront Takuma. But we are basically here for our final build.
Yeah, there's only a couple of fights left in the game, chat, so if you have any opinions about which deck you would like Star to play for the final match, now is the last chance. There's 4 total fights left in the game. These 3 are going to go by real quick, and then the last one is obviously the one that we're going to be, that's when we're going to have to call the incentive. So if you would like to see Dragoncraft help put it further ahead of the other 2 options. If you would like to see either Havencraft or Spellcraft, then Spellcraft?
Runecraft.
No.
I do the same thing. I do the same thing. Exactly.
If you want to see either of those, $35 is the number to beat right now. And again, all of these donations are going to a fabulous cause in Able Gamers. So this is, if you would like to see a little bit more variation on this game, if you would like to see a little bit more of the cooler strategies and make Star think more about the last fight, then those are your choices. But Dragoncraft is in the lead currently, so if you're down with big stompy guys going after big stompy guys, then you're in there already.
We are I was nervous about you saying like these matches are going to go by in a flash. So if I'm counting the number of cards I got against my preferred deck build, I think I got 33 out of the 40. I still don't have I really want to get up to like 37-ish. I did not get any of the spells I wanted, so I have a slightly better early game. So you saw me kind of like sub out a couple. I did not get any of the late game cards I wanted to see. I think I left my Queen Vampire in my deck. But yeah, this is not my favorite deck build. So we are going to be doing our best.
Did you hear that, chat? We're specifically giving you additional time to get your
Yes.
donations in to the final deck incentive. Star is doing this for you all, so definitely support the charity if you can.
Yeah, 100%. The game's RNG decided that it was feeling charitable today.
I live by the sword.
So this first match is with Serious Man. As you can see, he's very serious. He's playing a Forest Craft deck, which we've seen before. He's going to use evolutions, use a lion card to heal himself, which is obviously that is really not what we want to see. We want to watch the health go down, not go back up. And he will try to use Silver Bolt to kill us if he can. It does a lot of damage, but it costs a lot. So we're trying to get this fight done before turn 9 because it costs 9.
Yep.
So the idea here is we're really just trying to apply non-stop pressure. We really do not want to take our feet off of the gas pedal here, and we want to just knock him down as low as we can, as quickly as we can to try and get out of this one.
And by keeping cards on the field, right, he's incredibly reliant on combos. And so keeping cards on the field means he can't combo. But man, I say all that, I'm not keeping my live splits open. I apologize. I don't want to deal with the nerves of that. That 1000% would have been a gold split. I have never taken down match 1 that quickly. So
that was wild. Yeah.
There's the upside of when I don't have the spell cards, it means it's all followers, and he was not able to take out my followers. He went amulet heavy, so that just meant I got to just swamp him with followers, which is very rare for Bloodcraft.
Yeah, but this is again like this is another example of like certain fights based on your pulls are going to be far more straightforward than others.
Ooh, that's a very good redraw. Very good redraw.
That's a great start. Wow, a perfect curve here.
Almost, but
3-1.
You know, I got the 3
curve. There we go.
Yeah, especially into the wardrobe raider, so that's pretty clutch.
Yep. So this is match 2 of the Bronze Cup. We are fighting Spirited Girl. As you can see, she's very spirited. She is playing Bloodcraft just like us. However, she's kind of aiming for more of like a late game control situation. So we want to maintain board control as much as we can to try and keep that from coming to fruition. There's a lot of fanfare damage, so enter the board or you know when the card comes in towards the late game, and has some really strong evolutions and good cards with Storm, which means we can be attacked directly. So we want to this is a really fine line of a fight. We want to try to maintain board control for as long as we can, but if we overcommit at any point, she does have access to cards that clear our board, so we can invest a ton of energy or play points into our board presence and then just lose it all in a blink. So it's a tough one to navigate, but hopefully we're going to be able to get through it without too many issues here.
Yeah, she likes to race down to Vengeance early. And obviously, like, we want to do our best to do the exact same thing, right? Like, we want to damage her down. We also want to go into Vengeance. Yeah, this is like really no pushover, and I'm already a little bit scared. Because she has really good ability to heal, and really good ability to do that, like, you know, output that damage. And so like those two, I'm already blanking on the name of the card. Righteous Devil? Yes. Those cards gain Bane when you have Vengeance. I think it's like Bane and Storm or Rush. So again, these are like the fine lines of like me trying to be careful. And she will also very aggressively damage herself down if she needs that Vengeance. So, all right, I'm going to do a little bit of 2 can play this game.
You're not the only one with access to bats.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at the fact that I'm gonna do 4 damage, which means she's gonna go into vengeance. But I really do need to make a push. We're getting pretty late, I think. Oh, yep. See, here's your board clears. Yeah, we're getting ready to see her throw out the big guns, so I do have to be a little careful now.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna do this. I have plenty of HP to kind of like hold up. Let's go ahead and attack directly. I'm not gonna evolve. We're just gonna see what happens here. Yeah, she's gonna heal. She might have me now. This, I will say, I was always like, I don't know if like Kagura is the most scary fight. This is like fight number 2 in my mind. Because of like the nature of the mirror match. It's just kind of a scary one.
Yeah.
Again,
the mirror matches are not something that you generally want to see, because then it really does just come down to top decking. And since this deck, or our opponent's deck, is more geared towards the late game, it's a lot more difficult for us to kind of get those swings to happen in our favor because we need them to happen so early.
Yep, I'm gonna go ahead and rematch. I could probably hold out, but again, she's only getting more powerful and I was running out of followers to play.
Yeah.
I didn't want to deal with that dragging out that much longer. It's another thing that happens is quite often you just have to be aware of when it makes the most sense to just reset the match. You know, whether that is, hey, I drew an impossibly bad hand, that can happen. Or in that instance, right, like I ran out of cards in my hand. I don't have big cards to play to specifically counter that. And so I just knew that even if I was going to eke that one out, that one was probably going to go like 4 more turns at least. And that's even if I won. So easier to reset.
Yeah. Better to cut your losses, take the minor time loss, and get moving on another one where you've got a better shot from the very beginning.
Yes,
I definitely hear you there.
Which we already have a probably solid startup right here.
Yeah, this looks pretty solid. We've got a mid game card to play in that 6 cost. We've got cards to redraw our hand here. We've got a couple of little fellas that are going to give us a little bit of board presence early on. This is a pretty solid get, I think.
Yep. Again, making a quick trade on the follower. You notice that she's actively at 11. I didn't want to put her in vengeance right away until I could potentially react. And then also her follower heals. So I'd much rather finish that off rather than deal with her healing.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we're in a pretty solid spot here. Like, now's the point where I have to commit. Like, she's throwing herself in vengeance. But, like, I have enough cards. We're getting some strong options that I might as well commit to trying to, like, push her into vengeance and really push this match in general. She's actually going to heal, so she's going to have to damage herself down. Which she's not. Okay, she's just going for those wards to slow me down. I have a Razor Claw, but I do want to hold on to that because, again, it's very convenient to be able to have that, like, card that can kind of bypass everything. Okay. So both my cards are damaged. We're going to see if she wants to trade. If she attacks me directly, I go into vengeance. But yes. Not too surprised there. Convenient to have Alucard come out without vengeance. So I'm just
no healing, right?
Yep. So I do need to get some damage out. So we're gonna do this.
Rage empowers me.
So again, I would prefer to hold on to that. But since that was a 6, I would not be able to survive this. At least by evolving this card, I get the Alucard off the board and I still have 1 damage. for most likely to absorb a spell or a trait or something. Again, she's really wanting to draw this out.
Yeah. Unfortunate, but not the end of the world, I don't think.
Yeah.
Let's defile the battlefield.
Okay, I have the evolutions, so we're gonna keep pushing. I don't want to, I didn't want to Crimson Purge, and I don't want to play Abyss Beast. I want to have those options, and I want her to damage me into Vengeance, potentially. There's our big card. This is an unfortunate swing. 5 direct damage on Fanfare and a heal. So this is why I hold on to my Crimson Purge.
Yup.
Over so soon.
Okay.
She has 3 in her deck, and be ready to see them come out back to back.
One after another after another.
Rains a blessing.
So she doesn't have the play points to play it this turn. But she is pestering.
Rains a blessing.
Is she gonna end her turn? Is she gonna do something here?
Let's have a sweet time.
Okay, there's the evolution. Okay. Exactly 4 damage. Yep, she's gonna get a heal off as well.
What a shame.
Alright, what do I have? Okay. Alright. So instead of pushing a Abyss Beast, I'm going to go ahead and choose to heal and work on clearing the board a little bit.
Try this on for size.
And again, it's not a huge heal. She has several cards. She will likely push me down into Vengeance, which will give me, again, that option to throw out that Abyss Beast and Fanfare for, I believe, 5 damage. So, again, this is one where we're going long, but it's not, like, this is awfully close that I want to ride this one out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
We have some fun.
Because, honestly...
There's a much higher chance of us winning this one than the last one, for sure.
Yes. All I need to do is draw a any card that storms, any cards that will survive a bit. So like these bats will keep my Vampire Queen alive potentially. Oh, that heal's a rough one.
That's annoying.
Because I wanted to see like a Razory Claw or something. All right, so we got an Alucard. I would love to be able to like do something about that, but this is the better play. She's only going to be able to Fanfare and heal once. And again, we're waiting to see like oh hey, there you go, GG.
We did it, yeah. Literally any number of cards win us the game there, so very glad that we drew one of them.
I had less options than I normally would, but yes, we are cruising.
Yeah.
There's two fights left, so we're going into the semifinals now. So you have up until this next fight completes to get your donations in. So do we maybe want to read out some announcements, prompt folks to donate with their favorite card games or favorite cartoons or anime? You have like 5-10 minutes, depending on how this goes, to influence the bid war.
Ready when you are.
Victory will be mine.
Indeed. Yes, let's influence it. So, people at home, first of all, how have you been enjoying the run up to this point? Because it has been a delightful occasion for me, at least, back here in Oceanburg. But I want to know, people at home, what is the worst pun you can possibly make with card games? Make me suffer. Make me read it. Go on, you know you want to.
Love me a pun. I already used mine earlier, but
I can't keep relying on you, Dragon.
Wait, that's it?
yeah, I will say that is the unfortunate thing. With this as a like Dragon Craft deck, it's a bit of a slow build. They control the long game. So you see with this opponent, they're most likely going to be dragging this matchup. There you go. There's my pun. I'm making you suffer a little.
That was good. I like that quite a bit. So yes, as mentioned, this is competitive boy. You can tell because he's very competitive. He is playing Dragoncraft. Puns notwithstanding, that is actually the deck that he is playing. He plays lots of followers that have Storm, but instead of attacking us, he kind of prefers to trade, which is nice for us, for obvious reasons. But he can get in for like 5 to 7 damage pretty reliably. So we've got to keep our eyes open for any potential situations that could nail us for. And once we reach turn 7, it's going to be important that we don't overcommit, because there is another big board clear that can happen here. But it costs 7, so as long as it's not happening before, or as long as we don't commit that hard after we reach turn 7, it won't be as bad for us.
I like how I was gonna call out the card I was really scared of, which is that like Dragoon, and they literally played it and attacked and lost. So you just didn't even get to really see it do anything. It is scary because if it's in play while Overflow is in play or is active, it will be untargetable, and it has Storm. So he could have, I understand that he wanted to kind of clear some of my side of the board, but he could have decided to attack me directly for 5 damage, and I would have also had no ability to stop it. The only thing I could do is target it with a spell or an effect. So it is a bit tough. I don't know if he has 3 or not, but either way, I don't want to see anymore.
Yeah, that 1 was enough. We don't need. We've seen it. We're good now. We don't need any more. Please and thank you, opponent.
Okay.
Okay. We look to be in pretty solid position here.
Yeah, I want to kind of manage the board a little bit, so we're gonna take care of this. I'm gonna leave his dragon alone, and we'll go ahead and do some direct damage. I have plenty of help to make it, and this is gonna force him to try to clear the board. He has it. Yep, there's the conflagration. I do that every time. I feel like the kid from the WoW release that calls it cataclysm instead of cataclysm.
I don't think I've heard that, but I really love that.
Yeah, it's a BlizzCon. Yeah, but there you go. With us having some storm, I knew I had a couple storms in my hand ready to go. We are there. So we're gonna have to call off the bid wars. So if there's any last incentives or donations to count towards the incentives, now's the time to tally that. But I need to get on to my deck build.
Yes.
I can confirm that our victor for this particular bid war has been the Dragoncraft build.
People love seeing the
Okay.
big boys.
Dragoncraft is. I mean, it's cool. You get to play the really big, expensive super cards, which is always fun. So for this deck build that Star is going through right now, they're kind of aiming to directly counter Takuma, the final fight for this run, which is coming up after we complete this deck build. In general, what we want is spells or followers that can do damage to multiple targets. Takuma is going to play a lot of low defense followers. Our goal is to get him to run out of cards in his hand. We want to options. We want to get his hand down to basically nothing, and then we can do the Dragoncraft thing, where we play super big stuff in the late game, and there's just not going to be ways for him to deal with it. This is going to be a little bit of a shift from what we've seen so far in the run. We are aiming for this to be a much more top-heavy deck than what we've been running so far, because our goal is to extend this into the end game, the late game here. So instead of trying to rush him down, we're going to be trying to just maintain board control, keep him kind of under control, and just try to win once he's out of options. So Takuma uses a Swordcraft deck. It's super focused on the early to mid game, which is why we're trying to hold out to the late game. And his signature card may only matter if we go first. Perfect, we go second. So he plays a card called Axe Pirate. Axe Pirate summons a pirate follower with ward, but only if we have more creatures in play than he does. If we have more followers on our board than he does.
Prepare to be boarded.
prepare to be boarded. Except we don't actually have to prepare to be boarded because we don't have any creatures. So
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like a raid just popped in. Shoutouts to SM Midi and the Raiders. What's up, gamers? We are in the very last fight of this run right now. But hopefully you are here to enjoy some comfy Saturday morning cartoon card game shenanigans.
Yeah, this is the finale of the Bronze Cup. We're confronting the bully. This is the pivotal moment, and I will say, you called out the deck build. I don't know if you were looking at what I drew. Just like my Bloodcraft deck build didn't go how I wanted it, this Dragoncraft deck build did not go how I wanted it at all. So we are kind of spread thin. I didn't love to see that bell curve. And I'm lacking a lot of like the major heavy hitters I would expect to have in my deck. So this is gonna be an interesting one.
Yeah, it'll be exciting for those of you that just popped in, to say the least. This game is very, or this run specifically, is very RNG dependent. We basically don't stop to purchase individual cards at any point. All of the things that we are using for these decks come from packs which are random. We do get access to, you know, some standard cards that are in each class, similar to Hearthstone for those of you that have played that. And the deck that we're running right now, we are aiming to have a really top heavy curve. Our goal is to kind of keep our life total, you know, above 0, but you know, out of range, and exhaust our opponent's hand. And once we have accomplished that, we should be able to start playing these 9-cost cards, the 7 and 8s that are in this deck, to really get ourselves moving. But because this is entirely based on the cards that we have drawn over the course of the story, because it's all from packs and it's all totally random, Star cannot ever guarantee that they will be playing the deck that they want to play, and instead we are always going to be looking at cards that or each deck build will be different because of the cards we've picked up so far.
Yeah. For people who weren't here earlier, I like to describe this run as kind of like a draft night at your local card game store, right? Like
speedrunning draft night at the LGS.
Yeah, like you get like I forget the specific number. There's like maybe 20 packs total, and that's kind of what you work with. You know, you get, there's a couple that are guaranteed based on hold on, I want to get rid of
trading deck codes, I believe. Yes.
Leveling up is the thing I wanted to call out specifically. Sorry, I was wanting to make sure I got that guy off the board. So there's a few there, like that is why I kind of routed in a edit. Because if I happen to not get one of those early game Bloodcraft cards, I know I get it based off of where I am on like the XP curve. But yeah, that actually went super smoothly because this is GG. Yeah, so time will be on the fade out here. So we get the you win. I have to kind of mash through all of the results screen, and then there's going to be a fade to black. That's time. So that was a really tough run for me, to be honest. Like, I made a couple of mistakes. I did not get the cards I wanted. There is a lot of improv, but yeah, I feel good about that, pulling that off well under estimate, and that's why there's a lot of room in the estimate.
Yeah, we had such bad luck with Divination Lover, and that's like not generally a fight that we would consider to be like a problem. But
that one's a quick
problem.
That one's a quick rematch, right? Like you see that one going poorly, you know, out the gate. So, but yeah, I thank you so much to everyone here at Fast-Athon for having me. Bo, do you want to give your shout outs first?
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, first and foremost, shout out to you. Fabulous run, great work. I'm super happy to be able to be on the couch and offer some additional additional thinking time and take some of the weight away from having to commentate something for a full 2.5 hours or whatever it ends up being. So yeah, thank you for having me. It has been a blast. Also, obviously, shout outs to Fast-Athon for a first event. It's been super sweet so far. The charity that they've chosen, Able Gamers, is a fantastic cause, and for those of you that just that are still with us from earlier today or who just rated in, if you have the ability, please send some donations their way. This has the potential to be another an ongoing repeatable smaller grassroots marathon, and we should really be supporting that kind of thing, because every little bit counts. So if you do have the ability to throw some donations their way, chat room, please do. As for me, I have been Debonair VT. You can find me a couple nights a week on Twitch. I also do some speedrunning, but I mostly do platformers and not really card games. This one's a little out of my wheelhouse, but it's a lot of fun to hang out and watch, so I enjoy it. And I think that's all for me.
All right. Yeah, I will throw this out there. Able Gamers means a lot. So my partner actually is one of the testers for Able Gamers. So they volunteer to test because they're colorblind and have joint issues. So I see firsthand how some of that goes. And then also, I also will sometimes use some assistive stuff that is kind of in modern controllers. I have limited mobility of my left hand. So it's always really helpful when I could perhaps like map extra buttons on the right hand, for instance. So Able Gamers means a lot to me, even though I'm probably getting some lovely knock-on effects from their great work. So happy to support them. I do again want to shout out Bo for joining me on comms. I really do appreciate it. Shout out to DJ Bagel Pup, who was supposed to be my comms. They had some real life stuff that kind of came up and they needed to take care of that. So wishing you well, obviously. And then I want to call out a event that's coming up, but Binary Breakers is hosting Hope for the Holidays. So that's coming up, I believe, first or second week of December? It's like December 5th, 6th, 7th?
December. Yep.
Yeah, but go give them a follow. Bo and I are both part of the Binary Breakers. Breakers are fantastic. And so, yes. I would definitely say, if you can, please support them and continue to support this marathon. But that's it for me. Again, thank you for having me. And again, I'm happy just to see money being raised for a great cause while I'm just playing one of my favorite games. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you both very, very much. That was a fantastic run, and GG once again for bringing it home.
Thank you.
Absolutely fantastic work. All right, chat, I'm sad to say that is the end of my shift here as your host. I know, very sad. You'll be in good hands, though. Fingers the hand, in fact. We'll be taking over the shift. I didn't even plan that pun, and it just worked out. You'll see me again tomorrow morning, but until then, please enjoy the next run, which will, of course, be Jupy back again to play Azure Strike Gunvolt 3, and do remember that we met the incentive. So look forward to that, and don't go anywhere.